Gilbert Gottfried. I'm here with my co-host Frank Santopadre and our engineer Frank Verderosa. And this is another episode of Gilbert and Frank's amazing colossal obsessions with the poster child for...
Hey guys, I have to interrupt. Can we start that over? When I went to hit stop to play my soundbite, I actually stopped.
All right, we'll call that a rehearsal.
You're now officially
ready?
On.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our engineer Frank Verderosa fucked up again. Now you might not know this, but this is the second time I'm going to be introducing this show because Frank fucked up again.
Oh,
I'm Gilbert Gottfried, and I'm here with my co-host Frank Santopadre, and this is another episode of Gilbert and Frank's amazing colossal obsessions, and we have the poster child for Munchausen syndrome by proxy, Ray Bone.
How's your Munchausen syndrome by proxy?
It's okay, but I'm one of these days I'm bringing my proxy, and then you'll find out.
You're not one of those anti-vaxxers, are you?
No.
All right, then get your shots.
Yeah.
For Munchausen by proxy. Gil, how are you? I'm still laughing because Joel Gray just left.
Hysterical.
And he put us on, and it was great and fun.
Okay.
Yes.
I was working some club out of town.
Uh-oh.
And I was watching TV, and on comes a movie we mentioned.
Oh, no.
Old Dracula.
With David Niven.
David Niven and Teresa Graves.
The late Teresa Graves, yeah.
Now, the plot of the movie was Dracula's bride, I guess, somehow turns black. And he wants to turn her white. Turn her back to white.
Yeah.
And so the movie's... I can't describe how bad
it had a different title that I can't remember right now, and they tried to cash in on the success of Young Frankenstein.
Yes,
by crassly naming it Old Dracula.
Exactly.
Just shameful.
And
this is what you do on the road, by the way. This is how you entertain yourself.
That was one of the better movies I saw.
Couldn't find an Yvette Mimieux flick.
So I don't want to spoil it for any of you whose dream in life was to catch Old Dracula. But the ending of the movie is she bites him at one point.
All right.
And then his back is to the camera at the end, and he turns around, and David Niven is in blackface.
Oh!
Just when you think it can't get worse, David Niven in blackface.
Thank you, Arnie Kogan.
Yes.
They're still showing this.
Yes.
Well, that's strange that they wouldn't have just buried it somewhere.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
Without the blackface part, it would have been worth burying.
Well, we had it on our list of bad Dracula movies, and I guess it was an appropriate addition. Paul, how the hell are you?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
I want to just quickly thank a couple of fans. I want to thank our fan, Michael Esslinger, who sent 2 books. He sent a book about escaping from Alcatraz, which I guess I gave you.
Oh, yes.
The last time we were here, and he co-wrote Julie Dawn Cole, and she is Veruca Salt from the Willy Wonka movie. He co-wrote her memoir, and he sent Gilbert and I copies.
Veruca Salt is a Jewish holiday.
Yes.
Veruca
Salt.
I won't be working. It's Veruca Salt.
So I want to thank Michael. We will read these books with great interest. I Want It Now is the name of the book. It's Julie Dawn Cole's memoir from the set of Willy Wonka. And also, I just want to thank Steve Hanna for that fantastic comic book, the Thanksgiving comic book he did.
Yes.
Of you being slid into the...
Very funny.
Into the oven by a turkey.
I
just realized what I'm saying. He really nailed the look of those old... Those old...
I'm amazed at what people say.
He's got great talent, so thank you, Steve. Keep him coming.
I didn't bring my phone with me where I left 2 messages on it, so I'll have to... Well, it was 2. typed out messages, but somebody said that he remembers the theater I was talking about.
Yeah, in Kings Highway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where you saw Death Wish.
on Fort Hamilton, because he said it. I think it was a Lowe's 64.
And was it?
I don't know.
You know what's funny? We put that up on Facebook. We asked people after the Malton episode, post your theater, post your neighborhood theater, and people. It's great if you go to the Listener Society. I don't know if Frankie's looked at it, but 100 people at least posted pictures, in many cases defunct, of their local movie house. And it's just great to see them from all over the world.
This guy says he also saw Death Wish
Same theater?
at that theater, and that theater now is a furniture store.
Oh, that's depressing. My beloved Cross Bay Theater in Queens is a Modell's.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where I saw 5 Planet of the Apes movies in one day.
The Cameo Theater in Crown Heights, I think it became like a church or something.
It's sad. Well, I don't know how to do this, Frankie, but at some point maybe we'll get some listeners on the line and we'll just talk about old movie theaters. We'll pick 5 or 6 people.
Oh, and I saw, I don't even remember the title of it, and we're going to have them on next week. The Jew and Arab play.
Oh, you saw The Band's Visit?
Yes, The Band's Visit. I had the minute I started watching it, I said I saw this movie.
Yes, it was a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the movie.
Yeah.
But the guy at the ticket booth said, he goes, I know what theater you saw Death Wish in.
So it's the same guy who listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
I know that guy at Will Call.
And he named a different theater on Fort Hamilton.
That guy, I was interviewing David for something to do with CBS, and I went to, and he was nice enough, his publicist was nice enough to give me tickets to the Band's Visit, and I went to Will Call window with my wife.
Yes.
Same guy, and I give him my name, and the guy lights up, and he says, from the Gilbert podcast?
Yeah. Oh.
And I said, you listen to the show? And he said, we all listen to the show. And
He's
it was
a
so
groupie.
It was so
Great.
magical.
So great.
It was really great. We actually have an episode for you, Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
You did so well. I put Paul on this too, and Paul had a good time. I think it ruined his Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It was good for my Munchausen, though.
Good for his Munchausen. It's good. He needs to stay active.
Yes. Yes.
You were such a trooper with the Bad Dracula and the Bad Frankenstein movies. And our friends John Fodiatis.
We should have a whole new category. Bad Dracula movies in blackface.
Yeah. That's really drilling down.
Show old Dracula. You have to see David Niven in blackface. Okay. It can't get worse.
That's this week's recommendation. Yeah. David Niven in old Dracula.
It sucks.
The alternate title was David Niven puts in a new pool house.
Yeah.
But Eric Ryan specifically and John Fodiatis, 2 of our buddies, have become obsessed with your numerous references to chimps.
Yeah.
On the show. And there's a Chimp Friday or Monkey Friday or something that they do on Twitter between your Sunset Boulevard chimp references and now. And
does this have to do with the movie The Ape Man?
How did you know that?
I thought when you said chimp, I thought Bela Lugosi in The Ape Man.
Well, you get ahead of me, sir, because I thought, and I called Paul and I said, what if we did ape movies, bad ape movies?
Yes.
Not having anything to do with Planet of the Apes,
right?
Or even Kong knockoffs, but these are gorilla films.
When I was a kid, well, you could take a drink of scotch now, everybody listening. I just said when I was a kid, and I'd see a gorilla there. I'd always think, oh, they're saving money on monster makeup.
Yeah.
They dug into the closet, got out the gorilla suit.
Right, like Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, which is the first one I want to mention from 1932.
Well, he's Dr. Miracle.
Dr. Miracle. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. who appalls the people of Paris. Not appeals to them. I'm reading this. This is a wonderful article.
No,
written.
he appeals to them because in the movie they go, that you go see, very attractive.
He appalls the people of Paris by exhibiting a gorilla which is alternately portrayed by an actual chimp and a guy in a gorilla suit.
And I'm sure it matches so well.
Yeah. Injecting them with blood. There's a kidnapping made. There's a whole thing. I'm taking this, by the way, I want to give credit to Trav S.D., who is a wonderful motion picture and showbiz historian, and he did an article in the Downtown Express where he's a man after your own heart. He basically talks about the ape and the ape man, and we're going to go through them.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
Can I say one interesting thing
Please
I found?
do.
Yes. You might think that people in their careers would occasionally don a gorilla suit for a movie or two.
Bob Burns, our guest.
Yes.
Famous.
But it turns out that there are many people who have made entire careers out of wearing gorilla suits, and one that'll come up, I think, later in the show was
it one of them, Johannes?
What was that?
Stuntman named Steve Calvert.
Steve Calvert.
Wasn't there a stuntman Bonobo or something?
I don't know, but it turned the main way that you got a part as a gorilla was to have a gorilla suit. Because Steve Calvert bought a gorilla suit in 1948, and for the rest of his career, he was a gorilla.
In A Day at the Circus with the Marx Brothers, Groucho said that they had a gorilla suit. This guy rented them, and the stuntman was passing out because he couldn't breathe in it. So the director punched holes in it, and when the guy found out about it, he took the gorilla suit back and he left. So they got another gorilla suit, and they said, it's like one gorilla's half the size of the other in the movie.
What do you want to say about Murders in the Rue Morgue?
Okay.
With your beloved Bela Lugosi.
Yeah. Murders in the Rue Morgue was, it's not much to talk about because it was actually a fairly good movie.
Yes.
But
I almost didn't mention that one because it outclasses the other movies on this list.
The Ape Man, though.
Yeah, we didn't get there yet. We're going to go in chronological order.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So,
I just remember he was Dr. Miracle.
Yes, Dr. Miracle. Anything on Murders in the Rue Morgue, Paul?
no, but I do have, as long as we're going chronologically.
It was an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yes, it was an Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, that's right. According to some of this web research, somebody named Charles Jamora, does that ring a bell at all?
No, not at all.
Was the first to specialize in gorilla portrayals, including in the 1927 silent film The Gorilla, which was not about a
Rose
gorilla.
is going crazy with the...
You might think the gorilla was about a gorilla, but actually it was about a man who dressed up in a gorilla suit. Very
I
contemporary.
gotta see that one.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Who knows if we even have time to get to these, but
I think David Niven's in it.
we'll get to as many as we can. Okay, Gil, that was 1932,
Yes.
Murders in the Rue Morgue, and it's actually not bad if you overlook the gorilla suit.
Yeah.
And the fact that they intercut, they used both the gorilla suit and a chimp in the same scene. What about the gorilla from 1939 with the Ritz brothers?
Oh, my.
And Bela Lugosi and Lionel Atwill.
Wow.
Do you know anything about this one?
That seems like one of those movies I probably saw one afternoon.
Okay.
Years ago, but I don't remember any of it.
A 1939 horror comedy starring the Ritz brothers, Lionel Atwill, Bela, and Patsy Kelly.
Jeez.
It's based on a play.
Oh.
yes, clearly, by Clifford Odets.
Yeah.
When a wealthy man, played by Atwill, is threatened by a killer known as the Gorilla, he hires the Ritz brothers to investigate, and a real escape gorilla shows up at the mansion just as the investigators arrive.
Okay.
Patsy Kelly portrays a maid who wants to quit because the butler, played by Bela Lugosi, scares her.
All right. I don't see how that could be bad.
I'm surprised you don't know.
Yeah.
A Bela film you don't know.
I was kind of interested in Lionel Atwill, who I wasn't familiar with. He was the one-armed Inspector Krog.
Yes, you don't know Lionel Atwill?
Well, that's why I hang around with you guys.
Lionel Atwill.
Parodied in Young Frankenstein by Kenneth Martin.
Lionel Atwill actually got in a bit of Errol
Oh, yeah.
Flynn trouble.
Correct.
That's
There was
right.
some kind of weird sex parties that
There
he'd have
were
at his
multiple
house.
people involved.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's move on to one you might know, Gilbert, called The Ape. Are you familiar with this one?
And who is
From
it?
1940. This was directed and produced by William Nye and co-written by Kurt Siodmak, who was actually...
That he wrote The Wolfman.
He sure did, and many, many others. House of Frankenstein and many, many others. This one starred Karloff. Dr. Bernard Adrian is a kindly scientist who seeks to cure a young woman's polio. All he needs is spinal fluid from a human to complete the formula for his serum. But meanwhile, a vicious circus ape has broken out of its cage and is terrorizing the town people. The ape breaks into Dr. Adrian's lab, but the spinal fluids he requires to perform his experiments have been destroyed. So he will tear off the ape's flesh, use its skin to disguise himself as the escaped circus animal, and murder townspeople in order to extract their spinal fluids.
Sounds like an intelligent plan. Like it's a well-thought-out plan.
It's a social commentary. I
And
think.
Ray Crash Corrigan played the ape.
Oh,
he was one
yes.
of those guys that wore the ape suit.
He was a career ape man.
Made a buck wearing an ape suit. The play had a prologue. Of course, it's also based on a play.
Oh,
This
jeez.
is bizarre. It had a prologue set in India where an Englishman killed a sacred ape and a Hindu priest put a curse on him. Okay. This is Karloff in 1940.
Was this an RKO one?
It is
or-
it is a monogram.
Monogram, bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
a poignant ending. It's not quite blackface,
Yes,
but
poignant.
this guy gets shot at the end, and as he lays dying, the woman that he's been trying to help stands up from her wheelchair, and his ape suit fades, and you can see the troubled doctor himself.
There you go.
I'm getting choked up.
I can
was
see the tears.
It was the final feature in Karloff's 6-picture contract with Monogram.
Yeah, Monogram was like the bottom of the barrel in horror
Filming
films.
took all of a week.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the LA Times called the film engrossing and said Karloff shows himself a skilled player of the slightly eerie. There you go.
I'm a gorilla.
What you've been asking for the Ape Man?
Yes.
From
Oh, yes.
1943.
Yes.
And here it is, directed by. Take a wild guess.
Oh, is it Bodine?
William One-Shot
Hey,
Bodine.
my favorite director.
Yes. And he is experimenting,
Yeah.
as all these mad scientists do, with serum
Yeah, another serum.
from monkeys.
Serum du jour.
And he of course, for some dumb reason, either by accident, he hits himself with a shot of the serum, and he becomes a half ape, half human.
Correct.
Now I think his mother. It's so ridiculous because another subplot
Yeah.
is that his mother is a clairvoyant.
I don't have that here.
Yeah, like he's like unless that was in Devil Bat. But I remember
He has a sister who's a ghost hunter.
Yes, his sister. and I think there's a camera crew at the house to film his sister, who's a ghost. And if I'm not mistaken, one of these, either the Ape Man or Devil Bat, has what's his name? Oh, fuck.
Okay, give me a hint.
This one I know. Ted Healy.
Oh, Ted Healy. Oh, my
as a
God.
reporter.
I don't have Ted Healy on this list.
Hey, waste of time. Oh, you.
Yes.
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 Look up Ted Healy, Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, see what you can come
I
up
can
with.
do that.
Because Ted Healy plays a smart-talking reporter.
You think it's in this one? In the Ape Man?
It could be.
Could it be in Return of the Ape Man from
No.
1944?
You want to know something? Return of the Ape Man doesn't have shit to do with the Ape Man.
I know, it says it right here.
The Return of the Ape Man,
No connection.
they like the title.
Right.
But this has to do with bringing Caveman back from the dead.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Another Monogram classic.
Yes, and allegedly, it was supposed to have starred George Zucco. But
Yes.
George Zucco is not in the movie.
Although he has third billing.
Yes, he has third billing because Monogram was so fucking cheap that it would cost money to make a new frame for it. So they left George Zucco's name
Well,
on
what
it.
it says, if you trust Wikipedia, George Zucco is co-credited on screen, and he's in the publicity, along with an actor named Frank Moran as having played the Ape Man, but his presence in any scene of the finished film is doubtful.
Yeah.
One still photo of Zucco in monster makeup in Lugosi's lab has been identified. The producers later explained he became ill during the filming. Or he was deemed too old to carry out the role, or that he simply refused to play the part. Or if we go with your theory, they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But John Carradine's in it too.
Yes.
It's Professor Gilmore.
Yes.
But what were we looking at?
Professor Gilmore.
It's very good, John Carradine. You were looking up to
Ted
see if
Healy
Ted
and Bela
Healy...
Lugosi. I get all this stuff about the Three Stooges.
Yeah,
What are-
yeah,
is
but
that what-
is Ted Healy in the Ape
It was
Man?
Ted Healy and the Three Stooges.
And Ted
That's
Healy-
where the Stooges started out.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right. So
yeah.
that's
See what you can find as I move on.
And Ted Healy, I get the impression, was kind of like the Mo when they were together. Like he would
Yeah, I
slap
believe
them.
that's true.
Yeah.
And Ted Healy died in that bar, in the bar fight.
Yes.
Supposedly punched out by, I think, allegedly Cubby Broccoli,
Yes.
the producer of the Bond films, and somebody else.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
know this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did know this.
Yeah,
and,
we talked to Billy West about it.
And I think it was on the day his son was born.
Something like that.
He just gave birth to a boy, and he got drunk. He was a terrible drinker, and he got killed in a bar fight.
I'm impressed by how much you know about Return of the Ape Man.
Yes.
This says they bring a caveman back to a lab and thaw him out, but the caveman can't talk to relay what he knows. So Lugosi decides to transplant part of a modern brain into his head. Carradine refuses to participate.
I won't do
His ethics. It will be murder. Lugosi tricks him with an electric floor plate that paralyzes him, yet somehow allows him to talk.
I will put a human brain in his body. No, that's insanity, sir. It's barbaric.
Thank you to Trav SD for all of that wonderful information. You know way too much about Return of the Ape Man. Here's another one starring your boy, Lon Chaney Jr. Do you know what I'm holding in my hand?
Wait. Well, it can't be the
It's
Gator
from
people.
1951. We've jumped from 32.
Oh, wait! I know it!
Yes.
I know it! He co-starred with Raymond Burr.
You got it.
And it was written by Kurt Siodmak.
Directed by him, even.
Yeah, and it's basically like the Wolfman story.
Well, it was, yes, it's the one, it's Bride of the Gorilla.
Yeah.
Is what you're thinking of.
Yes.
And by the way, Kurt Siodmak wrote House of Frankenstein, The Wolfman, Son of Dracula, and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Yes.
So he had some credibility.
And yeah, and in Bride of the I think it's Beverly Garland.
It's Barbara Payton.
Barbara Payton, she died a horrible death.
You referenced her on a previous episode.
Barbara Payton, I think, wound up being a hooker.
Wow.
In the last years.
Well,
of
I have
her
some.
life.
I have some gossip here. But what do you have on Ted Healy and apes?
Not much. I can't find anything on apes.
He played
had his
like
own
a
career.
wisecracking reporter.
Well, it says he influenced several comedy stars. Marcia Healy, his sister, was with the Three Stooges in the Sitter Downers. Does that ring a bell at all?
No,
But I can't
Gilbert's
find him
looking.
with an
Gilbert's
ape.
looking for an ape connection.
Yeah, I'm
One
working
day
on it.
we'll find it. The ape connection.
Are you sure it was an ape movie?
The dreamers and me.
I found an ape connection, but I swiped right.
Nice
I
work.
got a little bit on Barbara Payton, who I
It
thought
was
was interesting.
definitely a low-budget horror shit film.
I'm looking at all of the. I'm on the IMDb page for Ted Healy.
Ted Healy
Been-
playing a
I don't
wisecracking
see
reporter.
anything. Meet the Baron, Fugitive Lovers, Lazy River, Paris Interlude. I don't see any horror films here. Casino Murder Case, Mad Love, 35.
Oh, maybe that's it with Peter Lorre.
Is that the one?
Peter Lorre.
He's
and
in that.
Colin Clive.
An insane surgeon's obsession with an
Yes.
actress leads her to replace the pianist husband's hands. I know that
the
one.
penis husband.
Yeah.
And yeah. And now
Could that be it?
Yes. And in Bride of the Gorilla, it's Raymond Burr who has the Wolfman part, except that he turns into a gorilla
Correct.
instead of a wolf.
Correct.
They've got a gypsy woman in it.
Yep.
But Lon Chaney Jr. is the sheriff.
He's Police Commissioner Taro.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
And apparently Raymond Burr took an immediate dislike to Chaney.
the two of them hated each other.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they were both alcoholics. But
Right.
what's interesting, when Kurt Siodmak was writing The Wolfman, his original idea was that you weren't sure if he actually does turn into a wolf or if it's something that he's imagining.
That's interesting.
No, that's
So Universal said, no, we want a monster.
Yeah.
And in this movie, you're not sure if Raymond Burr is actually turning into a gorilla or if he just goes crazy from what the gypsy woman
It seems
told him.
very confusing.
Yeah.
It was shot in 10 days by Mr. Siodmak. I don't think they took a lot of time.
No.
Although for William Bodine, 10 days was like a David Lean shoot.
Oh, yes.
It was referenced in a MASH episode, Bride of the Gorilla.
Oh,
the
wow.
first season of MASH. It was spoofed on MST 3000. But you will particularly spark to this. And I think you said this or referenced this on a previous episode. Barbara Payton's husband was Franchot Tone.
Yes.
You know where I'm going with this?
Okay. He got beaten up by, I think it was the actor from Detour.
Well, that's not what I'm referring to here. According to this, he suspected that she was cheating on him, so he paid a private eye to spy on her, and the private eye found her in bed with Woody Strode.
Oh, and
My God!
I got another one that might be where Gilbert was going.
My God!
It's right here.
At one point, she had two boyfriends at the same time.
Yes.
Franchot Tone
Franchot Tone.
And the guy
Tom
from
Neal.
Neal.
he
Tom
was
Neal.
the star
And
of Detour.
They fought almost to the death for Barbara's affections.
And I heard what happened was Tom Neal, who looked like he was on his way to some kind of, successful acting career, he beat up Franchot Tone, and it turned the whole country against him.
That's
and the
fascinating.
studio.
So she married Tone after this almost fight to the death.
Barbara Payton.
And stayed with him for 7 weeks and then went back to Neil.
Yes.
So she was a little loopy to say the
Gilbert,
least.
you know your Hollywood gossip.
Yes, and I heard
From the
she
30s,
then was
50s.
like people were paying her to have sex with her.
So
and
she came to a bad end.
yeah,
Bad end.
one director or producer slept with her, and he gave her less than he usually paid her, and he said, "Well, you're not worth as much as you used to be."
Oh my God! I heard she slept with William
I-
One
you
Shot
know-
Bodine, and it only took him 11 seconds to reach climax.
Are you proud of what you know about Barbara Payton? And
Oh yes.
By the way, your favorite, Edward G. Robinson, was
Uh-huh.
originally cast in the Burr part as Barney Chavez.
Oh my God!
I love Raymond Burr playing a Latino.
Yeah.
It's as ridiculous as Charlton Heston playing a Mexican in Touch of Evil.
Yeah, but instead of C, he went say.
Robinson was fired after an arrest for writing a bad check.
Oh my God!
How about that?
Wow!
Isn't this good trivia? Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
I say it every
The answer
week.
is
Do
yes.
not say this show is not educational. That leads us to my last
Yes.
ape-related picture. And this
Okay.
one I have seen.
Yes.
Thanks to Drew Friedman.
Yes.
And it's time.
Oh wait!
time
I
in
know
my
it.
life I'll never get back.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it. This is by the classic comedy team of Mitchell and Petrillo.
There's no stumping you, my friend.
Yeah, and it was
Gilbert, the mic goes in front of your mouth.
Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla, and
He's wandering off
is
mic
great.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Behind the mic.
Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla, Sammy Petrillo and Duke Mitchell.
Right you are, Simeon
And Sammy Petrillo, he was a Jerry Lewis clone.
Yes, indeed, he was. Drew Friedman turned me onto this movie many years ago.
It's scary
obsessed,
to watch.
He's obsessed with it. He's also obsessed with Sammy Petrillo.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's a scary film
this
to
very
watch
show.
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Apparently, shot in 9 days, it is the only existing film record of Duke and Sammy's act, such as it was.
Yes.
If, in fact, they had an act. And this may be bullshit, but producer Jack Broder put Bela in the picture because Bela told him he wanted to do more comedy.
Oh, gee.
He should have kept looking. Yeah. So, 1952.
Here's one for Gilbert. Ramona the Chimp in this movie was played by who?
Ramona the Chimp? Gilbert, didn't you go out with Ramona the Chimp?
Yes.
Ramona the Chimp was played by Cheetah from the Tarzan movies.
Correct.
Oh, my goodness.
Ramona the Chimp opened for Gilbert at the comic
Yes.
strip in the early 80s.
She got top billing.
Yep. Mickey Simpson was Chula, the manservant, and Milton Newberger was Bongo the witch doctor. Yeah, this is a low point for... You'd think this is Lugosi's lowest point?
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lower than Ed Wood?
He also worked with the Bowery Boys.
Yes. The original title of this was White Women of the Lost Jungle. Somebody decided to capitalize on Bela's good name.
And under that title, David Niven wanted to do it.
According to producer Herman Cohen, Jerry Lewis was furious when he heard that Sammy and Duke Mitchell had formed a team that was imitative of his act with Dean Martin, and that they were to appear in a film together. So Gary Lewis, Jerry's eldest son, was quoted as saying, "When Sammy and the other guy played in that gorilla movie, my dad and Dean said, we gotta sue these guys. This is no good." Lewis knew Jack Broder through the Friars Club of Beverly Hills, showed up in his office. The two got into a screaming match over the film, and Lewis stormed out yelling obscenities. There you go.
I remember the name of the law firm.
Yeah.
It was Floyven and Floyven.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Is this ever depressing? This is fun, too. Decades later, Martin Landau watched it 3 times in preparation for his role as Lugosi in Scott and Larry's wonderful Ed Wood, saying it was so bad it made Ed Wood's films look like Gone with the Wind. And there you have it. We want to thank Ned Hastings, who is our fan that came up with this gift for Gilbert. This is a DVD collection called Sons of Kong, and on here are 10 cinema classics, including The Ape.
Yes.
Lugosi meets a Brooklyn Gorilla, The Gorilla.
Yeah.
The Ape Man, and Bride of the Gorilla.
This is our show right here.
Yes, and it throws in for good measure The Savage Girl, White Gorilla, Law of the Jungle with Manton Moreland, Nabonga with Buster Crabbe, and White Pongo. So enjoy that.
Wow.
So when I knew I was going to give that to you, I said, "There's a mini episode idea."
Not
Ned Hastings.
Not a stinker among them.
all gems.
Yes.
Well, Gilbert once again has astounded us, I think it's fair to say.
Not a cough and a carload. Now see if our any listeners can identify that one.
Yeah.
Gilly, what do you think?
Okay.
You've outdone yourself.
Yes.
Once again.
I thought I was proud of myself with the Bad Frankensteins.
Yeah, but so we hope that John Fodiatis and Eric Ryan, our super fans, dine out on ape movies and gorilla movies.
I'm surprised how much I know about Bad Ape movies.
Tell the truth. You can't wait to get the shrink wrap off that.
Yes.
Throw it in the DVR. He also sent you 0 Hour, which is the movie that Airplane was sending up with Dana Andrews and Sterling Hayden. Worth watching. It's utterly ridiculous, but it's worth watching to see that they were actually almost shot by shot.
Right.
Spoofing Zucker and Zucker and Abrams.
Yeah, and they've got all the lines in it from Airplane.
So thank you, Ned Hastings, for the gifts and the inspiration for Gilbert's new favorite episode.
Yes.
Ape movies, bad ape movies. Thank you, Paul, for your research.
Sure.
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. And we left out any of the Three Stooges movies with apes in them.
There's always another week.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, speaking of Three Stooges, one of our last, what episode was it? One of our last minis, Gilbert and I were talking about this. What's the connection between Moe, Robin Williams, Mickey Mouse, and Silicon Valley?
Good Lord.
Oh.
You better tell them because we're at the 35-minute mark.
Same actor played all of them.
Oh, yeah. It's the guy
that's
from,
right.
The guy from
Diamantopoulos.
Chris Diamantopoulos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was weird because Gilbert mentioned the Moe movie, the Three Stooges remake.
Very good.
And then later on in the same episode,
I
mentioned,
think we should explain what we mean by a Moe movie.
Right. He played Moe.
Boys in the Band.
He played
was the
Moe
movie.
in the Farrelly Brothers Three
Yes.
Stooges picture. Yeah.
and then he played Robin Williams.
That's
in a
good
Robin
trivia.
Williams, yeah, right? And he's the voice of Mickey Mouse. What a
Very
weird.
good. All right. As long as you're doing movie trivia, I'm going to sign off with this one and throw this out to our listeners. Okay. Dustin Hoffman and Jack Nicholson played essentially the same person. One actor played him by his name. One actor played a character based on him. And I'll throw this out to our listeners. I need the two movies and the two characters
That's
who
a
are
good
basically
one.
the
That's a
same.
good one.
Basically, are the
Jeopardy
same
queued up.
person.
It's
Don't guess because we're throwing it out to our listeners.
Okay. Was there a gorilla?
There was no gorilla.
Yeah.
There's no gorilla. Ray Corrigan shows up as a gibbon.
And
see you
Eddie
next-
Parker.
We'll see you next week.
Colossal Obsessions.